Hello, YouTube stackers. This is ST with Silver Stacking 101, where we always believe in staying stacked and packed. Stacked with silver, gold, food, ammo, and packed with the means necessary to defend our stack. In this video, we will discuss the coming collapse of the United States dollar. And I want to show you folks a couple of graphs to prove what I am talking about. The first graph I am going to show you comes from the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics. This graph depicts the cumulative effects of the Consumer Price Index from the foundation of the country, 1775, through 2012. Granted, some of the earlier numbers rely on assumptions because there was no universal means to conduct economic transactions in 1775. Various colonies issued their own specie, and add to this competing foreign currency used inside the United States for transactions. However, the chart depicts the cumulative effect of the Consumer Price Index. In 1775, basically $1 was a dollar. In the chart going to 2012, data was fragmented to about the 1920s. So several assumptions were made along this line. My understanding of history corresponds to the findings of the people that compiled this chart. A reference line was inserted for the foundation of the Fed. Inflation started kicking up after the Fed was put into place. After World War II and during the 50s, inflation became more pronounced, and that makes sense. There was more competition for finite resources. However, and this is where it gets good, I noticed a second reference line needed to be added. So I added a reference line here, 1971-72. There is a definite change in the trajectory of the inflation curve, and that change happened in 1972. What happened here? We went off the gold standard. Look what it did to inflation. When we went to fiat currency, right here, look at the curve. And this is through 2012. It touched off a 45-year trend that is still ongoing with no end in sight. Now, in economics, we try to avoid the association causation fallacy, which means if A happens and then B happens, we don't automatically associate B happened because A happened. There was nothing else, however, during this period of time that can account for this trend other than going off the gold standard. There's not even a close second. We know what caused it to happen. Add to this our national debt. This chart goes from 1940 through 2005, back when we thought $8 trillion was a lot of debt. and this is 2005. It's over 20 now. It would be above my head here in relation on this size of a chart. Look at the total national debt from 1940, and we fought World War II, up to, and I put another reference line where we went off the gold standard, right here. Do we see a difference? Going off the gold standard was the death knell for the United States dollar. We are going to collapse. If we had to draw out a failure scenario for a currency, and we had to draw projected charts of a failure scenario, we couldn't do a better job than these charts right here. Folks, this is why we stack silver, as a hedge against the dollar. We know with absolute certainty it will collapse. If you've been watching the Economics of Silver video series, I have been saying the economy's going to look good for a while. It may look good for several years when this runs over. 2008 was a bad day at the office for the next downturn. The next one we will not survive with our currency intact. Luckily, hopefully we have some time. But it is going to happen. And it can directly be attributed to an event in 1971 when it was announced we were done with the gold standard. Let me know what you think. Whether you agree or disagree, not only tell me what you think, but tell me why you believe what you believe. Please give me a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't. Thank you for watching. God bless you. And remember, stay stat and pat, because we're going to need it.